Now, before you start talking some mad shit, there's no better fucking image to put in the background for this fucking chapter. It just doesn't exist. I looked for fucking 50 minutes. There's no long strips because there's too many fucking panels because we're trying to be Berserk here. So it's too creative with its layout for us to get an easy image. So it's a shitty, kind of blurry, shittily blown up by 4x because Waifu lets you do that now. What a great program. We love it. And look at it. Yeah, it looks okay. Look at me. I'm just hanging out in the corner here. The bed's not in the center. You know, it never is. But shut the fuck up about it is what I'm trying to say. With that out of the way, I guess we're back to talk about a Berserk chapter. When was the last time this happened? I'm not sure. I do not recall. I do not remember. I'm kind of looking it up in the background as we do. We're on chapter 100. Incorrect. 370 fucking 2 of these goddamn things. Now, that ain't even the real number because, of course, we've got the letters and zeros. Oh my god, I just realized in saying that it's a 0, not an O. God, I'm so stupid. We got A through P. Now, I don't know what number P is in the alphabet, but it's like the 15th one or something. What number is P in the alphabet? Oh my god, Google knows everything. It was 16. I was so close. So 16 plus this. We're on Berserk chapter 388. I can't say triple digit numbers or more out loud without stumbling over myself. You people know this. So that's the chapter we're here to talk about. It is what? The 3rd chapter of the new regime where our author is dead, literally this time, Lamau. That'd be a funny little final note to put at the end of your shitty Griffith video, right? Actually, I think it's more than that. Wait, no, because the Griffith showing up one was the last... No, we're like 5 chapters in or something. Didn't they release like 3 at once or back to back or something? It's been a long time since we've gotten one, which kind of shows because this chapter was a lot longer than I think most Berserk chapters for the last like 200. Though, I don't know. I didn't count the fucking pages. I was just going off earshot. And by earshot, I mean eye shot, I guess. Now, I'm fucking on my main channel here in the background trying to figure out when the fuck the last time we did a goddamn review was. Did Elite RE ever join us for one of these? Nobody will ever join me for a Berserk chapter review. Not even Ciclet, this fucking cowardly little bitch. He won't show up for one. Elite RE doesn't know enough about Berserk, he reckons. Jarky Bacon, it's too hard to fucking... what do you call it? Calibrate that? No, organize that. I was looking for a word that started with C that was like organize. If Elite Ari was here, he would have remembered the word and told me just now, but he's not. I know I'm scrolling. It looks like it's pre-fucking House of the Dragon. I'm still not seeing one. No, we got 367 and 368, so those were a few ago. Did I not do the most recent ones? Sometimes I just don't do these Berserk chapters. They're like 5 pages. Anyway, that was a pointless tangent. Where do we start here? I haven't really engaged, as I very rarely ever do with anything nowadays, with any community reaction or outreach. We don't outreach. That's a completely different thing. I haven't engaged with the community. I don't know what they're thinking. They probably all think it's good, right? Do I think the same? Dun, dun, dun. We're going to find out soon. So I really haven't seen anything. I didn't watch anybody's videos yet. Is anybody that I like actually made a video? That sounds really mean. Is anyone that I'm going to watch actually made a video? I don't think so. I've seen a bunch of thumbnails. From the usual suspects. That also sounds mean. They're all fine, I'm sure. But yeah, so I'm coming in relatively blind to the community outreach, since that's what we say now. Also, last housekeeping thing before we actually get into it. Hopefully the microphone sounds better than it did. There's a new microphone chat than it did in the most recent video, which was a Chainsaw Man chapter review, because the gain knob was up too high. So it's down very low right now. So it doesn't sound all grindy in your ear. I've also got the chapter up, so we're probably going to go chronologically. But first, so this Berserk shit has been continuing. I was probably an advocate for no more continuation. Though in interviews since, we have been promised like nearly exactly what Miura kind of envisioned, that seems impossible because there's no way he had detailed conversations about chapter by chapter how he was going to do the rest of the series. But that's what we're being told. And I've liked the most recent chapters. I haven't disliked anything, and they've felt Miura-esque. They felt like Berserk. So I don't know why, because an announcement was made relatively recently, probably like a week or so ago, before the chapter came out, that we were getting a new chapter. And still I was like, ugh. Oh yeah, it's still going. And I was like, fucking being a prick about it. I'm like, Miller's counting down the Discord, like 2 days away, 1 day away, whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, ugh, do I even want to read this goddamn thing? Now, obviously I'm going to read it, but I'm like, man. And I did wake up for work, and I could have read it in the morning, but I didn't, and then I decided to save it afterwards. Now, these old Berserk chapters, I definitely would have read as soon as they came out. So I'm being a little pedantic prick. I'm like, do I want to read this shit? Is this really a continuation? I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about it. I'm a little conflicted. And then I open the fucking chapter, and it's like the first page is like Casca centric. We literally get a POV Casca shot where she's reaching out for guts. Like, what the fuck? She likes guts? We're seeing it in real time? That's all crazy. And it's like there's a moment that just hit me, and I'm like, holy fuck. A Casca chapter. Those are things that we can get moving forward. And I was sort of at a disbelief, and it was like almost like a monumental moment in Berserk. Because there have been Casca-esque chapters recently, and recently is a very vague term. Like the one where she reappeared and then sort of sparred with Isidro, I think. Like that one was kind of Casca-centric, but not in the way this one is, where we're sort of in her head and in her feelings, if you will, throughout the entire chapter. And that's basically what the whole chapter is before we cut to Griffith at the end for a little bit. And like, Jesus Christ, I don't know. When was the last time we got this? Like Wounds 4? I think there's only 2 Wounds chapters, huh? Fucking fireworks or some shit going off in the background. Spooked the fuck out of me, very close. Unless somebody's getting shot in the streets. We have to be wary of that. What was I saying? Oh, the last Casca, like, internal monologue we got was probably fucking Wounds 2. And that might be the only one we ever got. Though there probably were others. So it's insane. And obviously Casca is purportedly my favorite character in this series. So that's very exciting on multiple levels. Plus her mindset has been a bit... she came out of her coma, and then we didn't really get what we wanted immediately, and we kind of never got it, and that's kind of us getting... What the fuck? Another firework, okay. I heard the before little, like, snake sound it makes, and I freaked out. I'm like, is somebody getting fucking shot back there? I don't think so. I wonder if you guys could hear that. Probably not, huh? You never can hear the things I hear. You don't have the ears for it, chat. Casca. Something about Casca is what we were saying. Internal perspective. That's very cool. Can you believe that's happening? That's insane. I never thought it would ever happen again. But here we are. Another firework. I feel like the residual from that firework definitely hit the top of the shed. The fuck? Anyway, distractions on distractions. So it was kind of an insane feeling, a good feeling. I liked the chapter, if you couldn't tell by my build-up about being a negative Nancy. I liked it quite a bit. I felt very good after watching it, reading it, or however you consume your manga. You definitely don't watch it. You see it, but not watch it. It doesn't move, you know. We like that. We hate motion babies. There is something confounding, I think. If you can... Hold on, now the outside light's on. What the fuck? Am I going to die on stream? We ain't even streaming. What are we saying? Oh, a good word that also means similar to confounding was what I was stuck on. I can't think of the word, but there is a word. For her, verbalizing, caring about Guts for whatever reason is like settles it that she likes him for me for whatever reason. Because that's, I don't know why in my head that's still up for debate. I remember there was speculation, at least internally with me and probably with the community for a long time, that like, what if Casca comes back and she wants to go back to Griffith? And she forgives him because she's crazy like that, because she likes him a lot. Remember that Golden Age shit? She was very into this man. And sort of stuff like that. But her being taken away by Griffith and sort of having, because she's still not really in her right mind, even throughout the chapter. So in this moment she isn't. But as she's being carried away, it's almost like her primal instinct is to reach out for him. That's very nice. And then she also sees him sort of turning his back on her and walking away, which is obviously reminiscent of the Snowy Peak. And initially Casca does blame Guts when he comes back the first time. Like, why did you leave? And Wounds, it's probably not. It's probably a chapter before Wounds 1, where she tries to fight Guts and she stabs him and everything, gives him a wound, Lamau. Like, she like blames him for like the Band of the Hawk and Griffith falling apart because he left. And obviously this is a big moment for Guts because he's like, how could I have any effect on Griffith? He's so much better than me, uwu. He's a big dumb fuck, etc., etc. So it is interesting that this could be seen as, when she's not in her right mind, as another abandonment. That's sort of one of the interpretations, I think, something of what's being implied to be going on here. Now, obviously, it's always going to be a mix of these things, and it's going to be ambiguous forever because that's how Berserk functions. That's why we like it. We like that depth. But then we cut to a very uncanny scene of her on a bed in the middle of an overly sized Falconia room in the castle somewhere, assumingly. Now, it is interesting, Griffith's motivations and his thoughts on Casca. There was a point in this chapter where and this is sort of what I was talking about previously in the review here, where I'm like, it's like tantalizing what could be happening soon. Like the fact, like at 3/4 of the way through the chapter, though, I wasn't paying attention to the scroll because I was so engrossed, because this is Berserk, right? This isn't Vinland Saga or Chainsaw Man or any of these other shit mangas. This is Berserk. So you're into it and you're not even paying attention to the scroll wheel on the side, because I scroll down to read my manga. That's how God intended it. You don't flip these pages or no shit, especially on these fucking websites. Are you kidding me? Page flips could go fuck themselves. Now, what was I saying? Oh, I thought they were going to have a Casca and Griffith conversation. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, after 40 fucking volumes, what the fuck does one of those look like? Especially this. What if he breaks down and apologizes, and it's partially manipulative, partially not, and she maybe does forgive him or something? And, like, what would her internal conflict be if she saw him weeping and apologizing? He says, I'm not femto. I love Ciclet. That would be some crazy shit. But yeah, it's like, whoa. Like, that is going to happen, I assume, at some point. And that's insane. Maybe Berserk continuing is okay after all. I don't know. Maybe it's pretty shit. I hate it. Moving a little backwards and a little forwards. Griffith's potential motivation for stealing Casca, I think we all understand that he's sort of torn between two people right now. I'm so many people right now. Quoting Mad Men, I can do it in any context. That's a Sally Draper quote, for anybody that's not keeping up. Where he's confounded at how many people he is. But he actually is multiple people because he's a fucking Moonlight Child. Even if I needed some convincing of that. Old channel speculators, not speculators, what do you call it? Spectators will remember. Sorry, chat. I had to burp. That was cute. I wonder if you heard that. I don't know if the new microphone picks these things up. So Griffith's motivation, presumably, is Moonlight Child wants Casca. We see this at the Hill of Swords initially. He thinks he's free of his human sort of feelings, etc., etc. Though he's not Ciclet. Stop being an idiot. Because he doesn't feel anything towards Guts, but then he protects Casca when seemingly he doesn't mean to, etc., etc., because the the pre-Moonlight Child, the fucking fetus, the demon spawn fetus. We just call it demon fetus? I can't remember. It has a name. I've been out of the Berserk game too long. Though I am like 10 chapters, and by 10 chapters I mean 26 chapters into a reread currently. Julius is about to get killed. That's exciting. So yeah, presumably that's his motivation. Obviously, he is the Moonlight Child. He transforms in the Moonlight Child. He's crying as he transforms. Is that Griffith's tear? Is that the Moonlight Child tear? Oh my god, how ambiguous. That's that Berserk shit we love. So yeah, his motivation, if he's forced to talk to Casca, how would he interact with her is incredible. Because he seems to... Who is Griffith? What is the narrative's perception of Griffith? Is it just that he did a bad thing one time and now he has saved the world and progressed it forward and everybody lives in an almost utopia of his making that he always dreamed about, and we're just hung up on that one bad thing he did and we hate him for it, so he is the antagonist and the villain in that sense because we just can't forgive him? Is that the point of the story, and he is just a kind of good bloke? Or is it this deeper, sinister thing of like he's got some sort of demon plan for Falconia or something? Or he is still the spiteful character, I guess he always had inside of him, but it was much more fleshed out right before the eclipse and obviously in the eclipse, etc., etc. Is he even the person from the Black Swordsman arc that he never seemed to be again? Funny retcon memes. But yeah, it's interesting with the true nature of Griffith, like, because under one sense of like this is all performative and he's pretending to be the nice Griffith he once was, when underneath he's very sinister and mean. Like he will maybe on the surface be very nice to Casca and won't address any of the things he did, and that will just let her sort of anger and confusion and want for a sort of an explanation fester, and she'll grow to hate him. Because this is all to bring up the Rickett situation. Rickett is obviously confused, kind of when he meets Griffith again, and Griffith offers him a place in Falconia, etc. Griffith can fix pipes and stuff, so he would be an asset, etc. So Griffith has a utility, but also is he being nice? Rickett ends up slapping him, and it's obviously a very cathartic moment for the audience, and we all cheer and huzzah, and Rickett marches off, and then he's attacked by Raxus, or is that his name? I think that's his name. It's a cool fight. Who sometimes acts outside of Griffith's orders and kind of wants to grill Griffith, so you're unsure whether or not Griffith sent him in sort of a pettiness fight back. Maybe that is like explained in those chapters, and it's just been too long since I've read them, so I'm not remembering the specifics, etc. Though Griffith probably could have stopped him, could have sent like 3 of them if he wanted to stop them all from escaping. Yawns. I wonder if the microphone picks up yawns. There's a lot to speculate about whether or not he's this nasty underneath prick. So what if he has a talk with Casca and he's just very directly mean and snappy with her? That'd be crazy. So this is a very interesting potential interaction from both sides. And it's like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Now, that's when the doubts start to creep back in, where Miura was so good with the little nuances and character conversations and reunions, and like the Hill of Swords is played so perfectly and the Rickett stuff is played so perfectly. Can the stand-in cast here, the creative team, do it? There's no way they can, right? But I don't know, they're doing an alright job in other regards. But it's just a monumental Berserk moment. Another one of these ones that we've been putting off since the end of the eclipse, and it was teased maybe happening at the Hill of Swords, and it's been so long. And some of this stuff has to get paid off, and we are cucking ourselves at every turn to stop the Guts and Casca reunion and stop any scene with them together. And then Griffith shows up, but he really doesn't have a scene with Guts. He just takes Guts, so we don't get that conversation either. And we're kind of saving these all for the end. And it's like, oh my god, give us one finally. And it could be happening soon, or we could cut away to Griffith going to the east or some shit. And we'll be left with blue balls once again. Fascinating stuff on the horizon. It is like that recent interview that came out with Mura said, where he said and he said this 2 years ago now, the traveling around adventure or group adventure is part of the story is coming to a close, and he even says that Berserk will take on a very different form moving forward, which is very interesting. We'll see, and we're seeing that now, I presume. So many things to speculate about. Oh, the initial point I wanted to bring up is excess and Falconia. Now, this room is rather excessive, you might see. One bed in the middle of a room taking up so much space in this beautiful hall-like thingy. That shit's crazy. It's excess. Casca obviously seems like a otherworldly princess, which is sort of reiterated upon throughout the chapter. As she has servants and she gets dressed up and she goes outside and frolics, etc., etc. That was another moment where I was like, oh my god, what does a Princess Charlotte and Casca conversation look like now? What if Casca tells her what happens? What would Charlotte do? She's a good-natured young lady. Would she turn on Griffith? She is like infatuated with him in sort of a insanely plot convenient manner. Not that I dislike conveniences in the Golden Age arc, and it's like she doesn't seem like delusional like even somebody like Sonya is, even though Sonya's definitely turning on Griffith at some point. If we are going to Griffith is an evil bloke by the end, I think a Charlotte betrayal, somebody who he sort of just discounted the agency of, etc., her having a mini stab in the back moment, could be really interesting. Plus, we always got cute moments with her and Guts. Not cute as in they're going to kiss, but cute as in he was like carrying her and they had neat little interactions. It's like, oh, they could be friends. Get moments like that. But yeah, that was another moment. What if Casca meets fucking Charlotte in this fucking castle? What the fuck would that look like? That shit's crazy. Characters that we have been in this manga for 30 fucking years, reuniting. Even small ones like that. Crazy. So Casca's kind of out of this and just going through the motions here. She starts to think a dream, because she's starting to think like, oh, I didn't just get kidnapped, I'm in something. Maybe I'm still in a dreamscape. Who knows what's going on in my head? And a bunch of servants show up. Different looking girls, huh? One's got a fat nose, one's got a skinny nose, one's got black hair, the others seem to have lighter colored hair. Mira makes them look different. Jockey Bacon would be shitting on Yukimura right now for having them all look the same. They all look a little weird too, because they're evil and stuff. Then we get the clothes off. No naked shot here, though, which was interesting. And then she's got, like, falcon wings and shit, because she used to be a member of the band of the Falcon. It still was odd, especially with how much Berserk kind of stuff I've been consuming recently, where they repeatedly call it Band of the Hawk. It is interesting, the Falcon stuff. It's like, man, they really fucked that up, and Hawk sounds so much cooler, and I like it a lot more. But what are you going to do about it? But it's a cool Casca dress, because Casca dresses up in dresses sometimes, and it's okay. The dress is also Crimson Lamau, like the Crimson Bayonet or something. I assume that's some sort of reference there. And all the little girls over here are talking her up and shit. I fucking hate them. You just gotta kill them. Fucking, they don't know what's going on here. Accessories to a rapist. We'll get them one day. It truly becomes you, which was an interesting turn of phrase. It's a Mira-esque thing. It's got some little poetic lines in there. Oh, I didn't even get to my fucking excess point, you fucking idiots. Stop moving me on. Falconia, and this only hit me when I saw this image, and because it's off-putting. For whatever reason, now obviously she's been kidnapped, sort of, and she's in Falconia. It's like, oh, this is kind of dirty. I don't like Casca being here. It's sort of, in your heart of hearts, there's something wrong about this, and you're sort of off-put by it. And I started thinking about Falconia, and Falconia is very much like that, I feel like, in every depiction of it, where it's like almost too much, and there's part of it, and part of its design that's off-putting and evil, chat. Evil. But I don't think I've ever put my finger on it and quite described it like that until this moment. And this room here reminded me of it. And I think it might be an excess issue. Like, there's too much going on, and there's too much Yeah, there's too much space. There's just a bed in the middle of there's something about all of this and the sort of, whatever the opposite of claustrophobia, the fear of being out in the open too much, it's got that feeling to it, and it's almost suffocating, and it just makes you not feel so good. We gotta kill these fucking idiots, every one of them, blow up the city. But yes, exceptional for Milady. They're calling her Milady and shit, like she's fucking a lord and stuff, or a lady, perhaps. Casca fucking breaks down those gendered doors. She'll be a lord someday. No, she's going to be Queen of Falconia when Guts comes back and wins and becomes the king. Sewn up by the city's preeminent dressmaker. Oh, the implication here is also like, is Griffith, why is he taking care of her in this manner? Or is it Charlotte? Somebody's taking care of her. Now, Charlotte probably obviously doesn't know everything that's happened, so she might be, one of Griffith's old friends from back in the day has come back. My goodness. Did she ever see Rickett and think the same thing? Now, Rickett's changed quite a bit, and Casca looks pretty similar now that she's got her short hair again. Is it to your liking? Is it? And they're like, hee-heeing. Oh, fucking, we're going to hee-hee them into the ground one day. Let us leave, and they're walking her around places, and she's just kind of going through the motions. You're like, get a grip, Casca. Kill these fucking idiots. There's also this silhouette shot is so fucking good, and everything looks so good. They definitely still nailed all the art stuff. It looks really good. And then she's sort of walking past. We're sort of getting more establishing shots of sort of Falconia and stuff. They got a fucking Parthenon out here and a fucking big Greek tree or whatever. It's not Greek, is it? It's like a Nordic tree, right? This dumb fucking tree. It's the twin tree, and they have like multiple names. The helix tree. These are probably all like real life lore shit. And it's interesting how they all sort of are accustomed to it now. It brights very light. Casca doesn't really know what's going on. She's sort of caught off guard. Something about her going through the motions, the airiness, the light, it reminds, you've seen this scene in things before, so it's a convention that reminds you of something, but it's so good of sort of like it doesn't almost seem real, which fits so much thematically. It's unreal that this is continuing. It's unreal that we're getting a Casca chapter now. Falconia itself is sort of surreal. It just all fits. And this is sort of where we start to get the first of sort of the, not Black Swordsman parallels, but the Casca going through things we've seen Guts go through before when she sees, and then it's named to her that the Band of the Hawk is marching off and she cries. Obviously, when Guts heard Grumbeld say it, it's one of the great moments in fucking Berserk, and you get so mad, this dumb fucking dragon fuck. We'll see him at the end of this chapter. We're going to kill him one day too. God, I like killing in this show. We didn't learn our lesson from Vinland Saga. We're going to kill these motherfuckers one of these days. But I had always said, like, Guts is going to get kidnapped, because obviously one of these idiots have got to get kidnapped, because otherwise we have no reason to ever interact with Griffith again. So obviously we're going to kidnap Guts, and Casca's going to become the main character. You see that fucking coward, that idiot, that dead idiot Mura in that fucking interview? He said, He was mocking me specifically. He used to watch my YouTube videos, all right? And he said, it's not like Berserk is going to change protagonists or something. I got so mad. I'm like, yes, it is. Guts is going to get kidnapped. Fucking Casca is going to become the main character, because he's going to get thrown in the pit over there, and he's going to fight the prick with no armor that's ate his arm. He's going to beat him, and Zod's going to be so impressed, and that's going to start their bonding friendship. And for when Zod also turns on Griffith in the end, you see him at the end of this chapter. He's kept outside, treated like a dog, and he's got that face on. He's just going to kill Griffith one day. Well, he's going to help. Everybody's turning face, by the way. Even back in the day, I was talking about how Slan's going to turn babyface on Griffith. Because she's cool and hot, and I like her. So obviously she's going to be a good guy in the end. Not these fucking maids, though. Slan will get them, trust me. But I was talking about Guts gets captured, put in the pit. We don't see him for 50 chapters. Get rid of this fucking boring fuck. Casca's here now. And Casca has her Black Swordsman shit. She goes out and she starts killing motherfuckers. She's mad and she wants revenge, and the world's full of creatures for her to kill. She gets the Berserk armor too. That was the whole thing. Guts tries to fight Griffith in my fan fiction, and Griffith just like flicks him and the Berserk armor comes off. And then it attaches to the most rageful thing it can see, and it's Casca as Guts is getting kidnapped. God. I should have written Berserk. Put me on the fucking team. And she goes out killing that fucking dragon. Oh, Guts drops his sword, obviously, so she can pick it up and use it. Catch on, chat. Everything's going to be so cool, right? Don't worry. The point is she's got to let out a rage at some point. Oh, yeah, and she goes off killing things, and the group just follows her because they got to, like, help her and keep her safe. And that's how they get bonded to Casca and stuff. She initially tells them to fuck off. And then slowly through, like, Farnese or something, because she remembers vaguely the Elaine days. She has to let out our anger and experience things. This is kind of what's happening here, except it's not anger. She's just sad. Because she has the opposite, not the opposite reaction to Guts, but a different reaction to Guts to the Band of the Hawk here, embarking on another campaign. So it seems the Band of the Falcon, they are truly brave, valiant. And then we see her, and it's like, oh my god, Casca's seen the new Band of the Hawk. She used to run this fucking dumb band. She was the best. And then they just notice her crying. So it's sort of something is going on in her brain, and it is processing. Milady, oh dear, they must frighten her. And then it's the fucking Thorfinn thing, where nobody knows that Thorfinn's actually the strongest one in the room, and he won't just show them, and they think Casca's frightened, when really she's a warrior. Dumb fucking bitches, they're gonna die one day. We got another silhouette shot, it's so cool. Let us move on. We see the war clanging things here, it's scary and stuff. I'm pretty sure that's a callback to a bunch of Berserk panels. They've also got interesting spears here, right? They're like weird for like monster slaying, because that's what they're going out to do. And then they walk off, and then Casca's in a garden. Now, apparently, I think Miller posted this in the Discord. This garden is something that Charlotte references in maybe one of the Ricket chapters, where she's like, I want to make a garden where all the kids can run and something, and they don't have to worry about their issues. And obviously, Casca goes through here, and she starts playing with the kids. It's very cute. It's Elfhelm-esque, almost. This fucking kid in the lowest panel on this page, which I don't know which page it is. Casca's in the field. You can find it, you fucking idiots. With the hat on, reminds me of a different Berserk character, but I can't entirely place it. I think it reminds me of one of the people in the Fantasia like transformation that's looking at like the flying not dragon, maybe not drake things in the air. I feel like he's got like this dumb farmer's hat on. Maybe that is that kid, and we're implying that we saved him. If so, I'm on the fucking look for Teresa or Jill in the background here. It's probably going to be... Jill's probably going to show up again, Chad. But Teresa, unlikely. We can only hope. She's going to kill Guts in the end, bro. It's going to be sick. But yes, it's like a carefree thing, and she gets to be cute with the kids, and it's nice and neat. What if she had a kid? And then she's at a dinner table, and I'm like, oh my god, Griffith's at the other head of the table. This is fucking insane. Didn't turn out to be true, but she's eating here like a princess. It seems like the table is just for her again, weird and eerie and not good, and the opposite of claustrophobia again. She's eating things, she's sipping tea, she's relaxing. Then we cut to her in a bath. Jockey Bacon had to go about this. He said, why do we have to tend to the male gaze here? This ain't even sexy, not at all. She's just getting in the bath. We've seen a million Casca bath scenes. There wasn't even any butt shots here. Oh, and there was a part earlier where she like touched at her boob, and I was like, oh, is the brand gone or something? But then when she's naked here, we see it again. Where was that earlier moment? Oh yeah, when she woke up, she like touches her chest. I guess the brand is a little lower, and that's what some people kind of do when they wake up, right? They touch their chest. I feel like girls do that. It's more like the collarbone than the chest. But I was like, brand gone, question mark? But no, brand very much here. There's a close-up shot of it with a boob. And then she's splashing through the bubbles. Remember, because her dreamscape was sort of framed through bubbles and stuff. It was fucking sick. We loved that. That was like the prettiest image in manga history. And she starts to get memories, and she's remembering Shurike and Farnese and Danan. I remember her fucking name. And also sees them sort of walking away in the distance. And what's this? And she kind of drops the bubble and it ripples. Obviously, the ripple is a big thing throughout Berserk. And she doesn't freak out yet, but later she's sitting in a weird fucking chair all by herself. There's like a box next to her that looks weird. It's all foggy, and again, it's another dreamscape thing. And she then starts freaking out. As like, is there a page missing? But no. Because she just starts freaking out. I don't know if it's near the chair or later. But there are guards near her, and the guards are called. So obviously it's probably Griffith. Maybe Charlotte would still know she's competent enough to sort of fight, but they don't want her leaving. It has to be Griffith, right? Because they talk about it later. I just want Charlotte to be here, right, chat? She's a cool character. No, you mustn't settle down. They're freaking out as she tries to like fight out. Obviously, she's remembered a bunch of things. Maybe she's just remembered her friends, or maybe she's remembered Eclipse stuff again, and she's freaking out. Oh, I think I realized, because I think Miller said something about this, but now I think I realize what's happened. So because these are black pages, which implies flashbacks. So she's in the bath, I guess. Or when do we see her? It implies that it's a flashback, like and there's like a cut thing at the end, at the shot of her sitting in the chair. So it implies kind of that she freaked out earlier, which would imply in the bath, but she's already got like her clothes on. So at some point she started to freak out. And then this all happens before she's sitting in the chair. And then she's in bed, maybe? It doesn't really matter too much. But she starts freaking out and the guards are called. Then she uses a vase and then she steals one of their swords and cuts one of their arms off. And this was actually like one of the most shocking violent moments in Berserk where you're like, oh shit. Because we don't actually hate this guy, just like we don't actually hate the maids. And his arm just got chopped off and you're like, Jesus, Casca. And it's almost like a frightening level of escalation and violence. It's very well done in the chapter, especially because the chapter's so like ethereal and cool and stuff. It's like, man, violence and stuff. But man, this motherfucker's arm got chopped off. Casca still has those instincts. She's fucking up shit for real. The maids obviously didn't know. Now they know that she's super strong, paying off the thing from earlier. She ain't like Thorfinn. She ain't no bitch. She'll beat you the fuck up if it calls for it. Then she gets seized or something. I wonder how they actually seized her. And then she's like chanting to herself, go back, I have to get back. If I don't make it back, then guts. And then we don't see what she'll say. He's going to be sad because he is very sad on that boat. I do remember that much. I did read the last chapter before continuing. Oh, she tripped over and then they sort of grabbed her. And then we see her in bed. And then we cut away. So what a Casca chapter. I guess there really isn't much progression besides she finds out about the Band of the Hawk. But it's so fucking sick, bro. Best stuff ever. Then we cut to these fucking cucks. We got our boy Irvine here. He's going to turn on Griffith too with Sonya. Then we got these two fucking dumb cucks. We got Locust, or whatever the fuck his name is, and Grumbelt. Two dead fucking men walking. Look at these fucking idiots. Dumb bowing morons. And we got too many fucking stairs and too many fucking wings on this design. We got excess here. Now, I don't know if this Locust is welcoming Irvine when he first arrives, or if which does seem to be the case because these seem to be walking little onomatopoeias, and he is walking forward. Initially I thought like, oh, he wasn't bowing, and it was a cool like guts parallel to when he didn't bow to the king, and I'm like, Irvine doesn't bow to nobody, right? He's fucking cool, unlike these two fucking soy boys on their knees here, but then he does take a knee, and he says, the bird now dozes peacefully in her cage, her flight over. See, these guys know what's happening. What's really going on here. Now, are we ever going to get confirmation if these fucking idiots were at the eclipse? Because they weren't in no background shots, and they're all too cool to be like mindless fucking weird dudes. The Count was there, and I'm pretty sure they were all supposed to be there, right? Even Zod's outside, though he doesn't eat people because we like Zod. And not even Grumbelt or Lucas is that evil to indulge in the eclipse, right? Just a weird fruit for thought for fruit. We're thinking about something here. But yes, Casca, they're all aware of Casca. She freaked out a bit, but she's still sleeping. Then we get this I think this funny shot of Zod. And then Griffith just says the East. And then Locust says, East? And then Griffith smiles. Everything naturally flows according to his will. Griffith is getting everything he wants is basically the tag here. Will is a big thing. Do as you will. Remember when the idea of evil said that to this fucking prick? He looks so arrogant at the end too. Maybe he is evil. Maybe we do gotta punch him a bit. The East is interesting because I think I also saw, because again, the only community engagement outreach, I think we call it now, that I've done is whatever the fuck Miller was saying in the Discord, which half the time pisses me off anyway. That's enough pissing me off. Now, the East is interesting, because the East has been hinted at a few times in Berserk. When Guts is first asked about the Behelit to Griffith, I know, because I just read these chapters, no biggie. He says, an old gypsy woman from the East sold me the Behelit. Now, obviously, we get a lot more context on that through Ubik, etc., through the flashbacks, etc., at the eclipse time. But the Count also says, like, oh, the Behelit came from, like, a caravan of gypsies or something from the east, and I think even Ganishka says that. Now, if we're going off a real-world geography, we're going to Asia, I think. We're going to introduce some Japanese people into this manga. Now, you know these Japanese manga authors. They like to make the Japanese people superpowered in some way or another. Isn't that in... I feel like that's a thing in... I feel like I want to say that it's a One Piece thing. Wano spoilers. I'm not actually going to say anything. Though I can't remember the specifics on that, if that's true, and the Wano people just all have superpowers because Lamau. But it is a thing in Guilty Gear. I remember that from the Guilty Gear PCP lecture, where the Japanese people are just all like psychically linked and stronger than the average person or something. So that could be what's afoot here, some Japanese exceptionalism, which would be funny, because I don't think we've ever seen a Japanese-looking bloke. Well, I guess Pippin, right? He's kind of Japanese or Mongol-looking. And obviously, if you look at real-world geography, we got fucking Europe over here, which is Midland. And then we got India or the Kushans here. They're pretty far east, but even further east is the Asian population. So that could be a thing that's going on. Or it's some sort of mystical demon land. Because every time somebody mentions, oh, the Behelit comes from the east, it's always so interesting, especially early on in Berserk when you don't entirely understand what's going on. You're like, oh, fuck, that's fucking sick. I wonder what the east is like. So I don't know if that's what we're focusing on. I think Miller said, like, oh, east is where, like, the Kushans are, therefore that's where the Bakiraka village probably is, so we're going to fight Ricket. Lame. I want to go to the east. I don't know what the fuck we would find there. Maybe Ubik is literally hiding out there now. Maybe Jill's village is to the east, and that's where we're going. But it is very interesting. So yeah, it could imply a few things. Oh, I guess that's all we really have to say about this chapter. Now, it was a good chapter, it was a long chapter, so there were some things to say. How long we've been recording? I did click record, right? Yes, 42 minutes. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good time for a Berserk chapter review. We talked about excess and Casca and killing maids and killing dumb fucking cuck-kneeling losers. We're going to get a one-day chat, don't worry about that. So yes, it seems cool. I don't know if we're scheduled for another chapter next month or something. If there are chapters like this, we can do them every 3 months. We don't mind. Continues May 26th. Look at that. So we are getting one next month. They did take some time off, so maybe they like prepared a few in a row so they could do monthly releases for the foreseeable future. Maybe. Could see us cutting back to Guts next chapter too, though. I don't think we're going to be at the east. But it will be interesting. What the fuck is afoot there? I don't like speculating that much, so I don't really have anything else to any ideas on what else that could mean. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we're ending the video. That's what we're doing here. Berserk was fun. It's back, I guess. I wonder if the anticipation for next month's chapter will be the same, where I'm like, this fucking shit, is it really continuing? I don't know about this, and then the chapter will come out and I like it. Or if I'm just excited now. We'll have to see. I'll update you guys next time. I'm sure I'll walk through my whole process of reading the video, etc. Casca's the best. That's all we got to say. Support links in the description below. Thanks.